friends, I'm Sarah Martin with The Contoured Chemist. If you are new here, welcome. This video is perfect for you. Today is day 1 of my 12 days of Christmas giveaways. I do it every year and it's my way of giving back to my community for all of your support. And this one is tailored to the beginner. If you've just heard of Seint IIID and you want to get started, this giveaway and tutorial is going to be perfect for you. So if you want to check it out, please keep watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and thank you for being here. Okay friends, let's get right on into it. What are you giving away for day 1? This is my getting started kit. And this is gonna be just for YouTube subscribers over here. I'll tell you at the end how you can comment and enter to win. So I'm gonna be giving away my 2 all-time favorite brushes. I'm gonna be using these in the tutorial. I'm gonna show you how to use them. Both of these double-ended brushes, the blush and bronzer and the detail. A 12 compact, so this one will fit 12 full-size 10s, 2 levels, so you can have your creams on one level, your powders on the second one. The Perfector, of course, because I never do my makeup without it. And not pictured is a custom color match for me and 8 10s. So whatever I color match you to, you get to choose your top 8 foundation colors, blushes, lip and cheeks, illuminator, bronzer, whatever that might be. It's your choice, and you get all of those in the giveaway. For any of you that have no idea what Seint Beauty and 3D foundation is, this is the makeup that changed my life 7 years ago. It's the only makeup I've ever used that I didn't get tired of, and that gets better with time. It's incredible. So I'm gonna show you how I would apply 8 basic shades. I'm just gonna pick what 8 I would choose, and using those 2 brushes. Wow, my hair is cray-cray today. I'm gonna show you guys a little bit about 3D foundation. I'm gonna show you why I use it every color I do, so that way when I custom color match you, you will understand why I'm choosing each shade. I write up a very detailed color match response, so it's clear, but I don't feel like words ever can express what a video shows. And seeing somebody do it is completely different than reading about somebody doing it. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna show you out of my palette. This one is a 27. If that tells you anything, they come in lots of different sizes. We even have these new beautiful monogrammed ones. We have hard cases, we have smaller ones. The options are pretty endless when it comes to this custom makeup. And because it's custom, you get to pick exactly what shades are gonna be in it, what shades you're gonna use, none that you won't. And the great thing is you can just pop out the shade when you're almost out, or run out and replace 110 at a time. So it saves you money, saves you time from opening and closing bottles. And if you travel a lot, you don't even have to take this out at security at the airport. It's incredible. Cream makeup. I can't say enough good things. If you have mature skin like me, your skin will thank you. I promise it'll make you look 10 years younger. The only thing is it can be a little bit different to apply. It is not like traditional makeup. It doesn't work like traditional makeup. So I'm gonna kind of give you some of my tips and tricks as we just walk through and talk through a quick application of this 3D foundation. All right, so we have 4 different main colors. We have highlight shades. This is what you would think of as a traditional foundation or concealer. I don't like to call it a concealer because it doesn't work at all the same way. And so I like to call it a color corrector because it's actually going to be your darkest highlight shade. This is what's going to color correct all of my depth, darkness, dark circles, hyperpigmentation, redness, blemishes, you name it. It's gonna match the darkest points on my face. And so by using that, I'm gonna be able to use far less coverage of a lighter shade. You'll notice with this makeup, the lighter you go in shades, the less coverage you're actually gonna get. And so this is why it's so important you get a color match. Because if you're picking the colors based on the pictures online, I promise you, you will pick the wrong shades. You will hate the makeup. It's not gonna last all day. It's not gonna give good coverage. And this makeup really does give incredible coverage, very little product, to where you can get a skin-like finish. It looks like your skin, it feels like your skin, it's not heavy, it's never cakey, but it's all in the colors. And so I really try to teach application and making sure everyone has those proper colors so that they can use less product. Because I don't know about you, but I never want to feel like I'm wearing a mask. If it feels heavy, I don't want to wear it, right? So color correction is key, in my opinion. That's the only way I got this makeup to really look like skin, and that's kind of my goal. But the cool thing about 3D foundation is you can get anywhere from natural, really light skin finish to full coverage. It all depends on the colors you're using, the brush choice you're picking, and how you're applying it. But you can switch it up every day, which is really fun. So if you're having a bad skin day, you can go for full coverage. If you're having a good skin day, you can go for natural. I'm kind of having an skin day, so I will probably go for medium. That's just kind of how I roll. So color corrector, it's just another highlight shade. It's just chosen based on what your skin concerns might be, kind of coverage you're looking for, darkest points of your face. Then we have another highlight shade that's gonna be more of like your main, think of this as more of like a just one color all over foundation. It's gonna kind of keep you matching, even out your skin tone. And then we have a accent brightener. This brightener shade is gonna be kind of what traditional makeup uses concealer for now, and that's kind of like brightening and highlighting certain parts of your face. They're all called highlight shades, which can be confusing. We actually do have a highlighter, as you would hear in traditional makeup, but it is called illuminator in our world. So this is what will give that glow to the cheekbones or anywhere else you want it. That's kind of our fourth color in our foundation. So we have highlight, that's our illuminator. Contour is what makes up the 3D in our 3D foundation. So contour is what's gonna kind of add more dimension to our face, add more shadow, give us more of a chiseled out look. This is what lifts our cheekbones, makes our forehead, our noses look smaller. And this is what makes this makeup so amazing, because you can highlight and contour without a lot of products. So you just need 2 tens, you get it done really quickly and easily. And the cool thing is that our contour actually gives coverage as well, which most contours on the market do not. Then we have other fun things like bronzers, and that's not even included, I don't think, in a foundation. I say the third one is going to be a lip and cheek. This is my favorite part of the makeup. This got me out of my makeup rut that I was in for 10 years prior. So instead of wearing the same blush shade every day, same lip color, lip gloss, whatever, we have lip and cheeks that are lip color, obviously, and blushes. So they're cream, they give a beautiful glow. You can layer, you can mix, you can make your own color every day, which is what I do. So that is the last color in the foundation. We have a lot. We got lip liners, lip balms, and of course, all of our powdered products like setting powder, eyeshadows, more fun stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna pick 8, and I'm just gonna use those 8 so you can kind of see what it would be like when you get your colors. And so my 8 is going to be most definitely the most important, in my opinion, is getting the coverage and the finish I want. So my 8 is going to be 3 highlight shades. So that's gonna be color corrector, main, brightener. I'm gonna pick 1 contour, so there's 4. Definitely a lip and cheek, there's 5. Illuminator, 6. And some of these are really dual purpose, so I can like use contour to line my lips. Let's see, I'm gonna say powder, because I have to set under my eyes, and probably one of these bronzers. All right, now that we got our 8, let's get started. Okay, as I told you, my 2 favorite brushes, blush, bronzer, but you'll see I use blush for highlight. It's incredible for mature skin. Trust me, just try it. If you want an airbrush finish, this brush is your best friend. And then the detail. This is the only brush I will ever contour with because it just makes it so much easier. So I'm only gonna use these 2 for this look. And then of course, the Perfector sponge. It's the only way to remove excess. And with this creams, less is more. It can be kind of the hardest part of starting out with this makeup is the fact that we're used to do a traditional foundation that like squirt in your hand, rub all over, or even if you do use a brush. But these creams are very buildable. And so you can use very little and then apply more if you're just trying to get more coverage in certain places. You don't have to you never want to like swipe into it and swipe on. You're going to have far too much product. So I'm going to show you how I would get started. You'll see my color corrector. You can already see pan. That's okay. This will still probably last me another 3 to 4 months. That is how little you use of these tints. So I'm going to start with the blush end, and I'm just going to kind of tap in to a corner where there's product. And then I'm gonna kind of just tap on to an area and you can kind of see how very little product I picked up, okay? And people are always really scared of this shade because it looks very orange online, but trust me, it's called Magic Mango for a reason, or I call it Magic Mango for a reason. It changes the game for so many people. If you have an uneven skin tone or concerns like I do, it is virtually rare that you can use one shade, in my opinion, in order to get a natural looking finish that lasts all day without having to cake on product. You can probably get away with using a lighter shade depends on your skin, truly, but that's why I color match you. I will give you your options. I'll tell you if I think there's multiple ways you can wear it and why, and so that way you can choose which way you would prefer. So I'm just gonna hit the high points of my face. It's the darkest. So I've got rosacea and hyperpigmentation all through here. I got rosacea here, my entire nose is darker. I got redness through here. So I'm just buffing on a very thin layer, small circles. This brush is like super soft. And I'm putting on more on my nose because it's the darkest part of my face. So you can kind of adjust depending on your face and what you need, what kind of coverage you want, all those things. Okay, now I'm gonna switch to this small end of the detailed brush. That's so I can tap on and then I can get these smaller areas that this big brush really can't get into. And I hit my under eyes. Okay, so I'm just really lightly gliding over my entire under eye to kind of tone that area and make it match the rest of my face. And then I'm gonna kind of tap on more on the darkest parts. And so you can kind of adjust how you apply for what you're looking for. If you're kind of just trying to even out, you can kind of really lightly use the brush. I really don't use a whole lot of pressure. Otherwise, all this skin would move around. We don't need to do any more damage, right? Okay, then go back and kind of just tap on where you want more. So I always recommend kind of buffing on, really light hand, wherever you might need it. Then we can go in and we can be like, okay, I need more coverage here. I've got some dark spots. I'm just now gonna use this to kind of give them a little bit more precise application. Okay, so I'm hitting mostly melasma, hyperpigmentation, dark spots that need a little extra help. And then I always kind of like to push a little bit more onto my nose. Noses just tend to be a little bit more slick. And if you blow your nose a lot, depending on, like, to me, today I feel like I've been blowing my nose because it's starting to be that time of the year, and noses just tend to wear off more quicker because we're always touching them, right? And then I always hit areas where I just naturally have more texture, because the darker the highlight shade, the better it will sit on the skin if you match the darkest point first. Trust me, took me years to kind of figure that out, but this makeup doesn't work like other makeup. You can't just pick a lighter color and throw it all over because you want to be lighter that day. It won't sit on the skin. It'll actually increase the look of texture and it won't last. So match the darkest point first, then you can go in with your main color and kind of even out and be whatever color you want. But you got to use the darker shade first. So now I'm going to lighten it up a little bit. So I'm going to tone down the warmth of my color corrector with my main shade, which is a little bit lighter and more neutral. And I'm just going to tap, tap, tap very lightly, because these creams are a little bit drier because I've been in my compact for a while, but when you first get them, they will be a lot softer, okay? They're not, sometimes people are like, oh, they're not super creamy. They shouldn't be. They shouldn't be super soft, or you will pick up way too much product, okay? They're meant to be a little bit tackier so you can easily just kind of touch, not get a whole lot on your brush, okay? And that way you can just press it on where you want and kind of build up that coverage until you're happy. So I'm just going across my whole face and kind of evening out my skin tone until I'm happy with my coverage. Okay, and then I go back to that small end, same thing. I'm just gonna kind of make sure I'm all evened out. You wanna build up coverage under your eyes. You wanna make sure you are pressing this main shade. If you start buffing this main shade, you're actually gonna be mixing the two colors, which will change your coverage and change your wear time. A mixture of these two colors, it's very different than the layering of them. You are melding the colors slightly, obviously, when you're pressing them together, but this color corrects really well and this one doesn't. So when you're mixing them, you're actually lowering the amount of correction you're gonna get. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, and then once you're done with your main, it's time to contour. So we're all evened out. Now we pick up that detail brush again for adding in the dimensions. So right now I'm pretty flat. I mean, I'm all one color, and you'll see a lot of people that contour first. Probably could tell in the beginning of the video, my cheeks are not even whatsoever. So what happens if you contour and you have a lot of hyperpigmentation or redness, you're not gonna get a whole lot of coverage from the contour alone. I have to layer. So I have to color correct in order to kind of lessen the contrast of my skin. So by color correcting, I get rid of some of that redness and I get rid of some of those dark spots, and they'll kind of be a little bit more evened out. Now they're not completely gone, but I can then apply a contour without them emphasizing those dark spots and making it look like my contour is just not blended, that it's just looking patchy, because you can see dark points within it, if that makes sense. So there's a method to my madness. If you have similar concerns anywhere on your face, apply your highlight first. Your highlight's gonna give far better coverage than your contour does. This method is just what works for me. When I contour first, it doesn't look even and nice on my skin. I wish I had skin that I could do that, but I don't. So everybody's skin is different. Figure out what works for you. Okay, the key with contouring, in my opinion, if you have areas like mine, is making sure you're not doing this. So you're not striping it on with your fingers to where you're gonna have to work really hard on blending it out, and then you uncover all of that you just got good coverage on. I've got a nice even base now. Now I just wanna add that shadow without disturbing it. So here's what I do. I am gonna go ahead and contour with cedar. And so what I'm doing is I'm gonna hold my brush at an angle and I'm gonna kind of pounce in on half of my brush because our contours are very dry. So I got that color on half my brush. Now I'm gonna take that color down, that side down, and I'm gonna kind of just like cup where my contour, where my cheekbone would be. Stopping about the side of my eye, I've just simply kind of tapped that on. Now, I'm sitting like in the sun, I don't know if you can tell, so my contours are already a little bit softer than normal. So I've got enough product on my brush probably to do both sides. Do that, see how much product that is? Trust me, you don't need a lot. So I'm just gonna tap it on along your forehead, under the cheekbone, and under your jaw, to carve out the jaw right here. Oh my gosh. Right there. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and start blending because I like to apply and blend at the same time. Makes it 10 times easier. So just pull down your neck so you don't have any kind of demarcation line there. Foreheads are really easy. You just push up into your hairline so you don't see that white scalp. Okay, and then pull down because we don't need a defined contour on our forehead. We don't have an actual bone there like cheekbones. We want that to just be a natural fade into our hairline to kind of just frame out your face. Okay, you can see this side, it kind of started blending out at the same time. This side, I just had way too much product, so I had to take some off. So I'm gonna show you this side. So if you pick up a good amount and you don't over apply it, all you have to do is then start pressing and moving your brush upwards to blend like as soon as you apply it, okay? This side's gonna need more work. The one thing you don't wanna do is do this, okay? So we're gonna start by just pressing along the line, okay? Then we're going to start pressing with a little bit more pressure as we move the brush upwards and kind of just pounce. Okay, and then we might have to, we're definitely gonna have to perfect that, but you can always go back into your highlight brush, kind of blur edges if needed. The lighting is so bright in here that I feel like it's making my screen look so dark, it's hard to see on camera. So hopefully, like this side looks way darker than this side, but on camera, it doesn't. So let's hope it looks blended. If not, the perfecter will save the day. So far we've got two of our highlights. We haven't brightened yet. And then one contour. Now, I should have picked the cool contour so I could show you a nose contour, but I will keep it simple. I usually don't like a warm colored contour on my nose. It tends to pull red. So if that is something you're wanting and you win, just ask and I can recommend a cool tone contour for your nose because nose contouring can be really fun once you get the hang of it. So it is already time to go ahead and brighten. So I'm gonna go back into this small end of the detail, and accent brightener is one of those things, just think even more so, less is more. I'm just gonna kind of gently tap, and I'm gonna hit right there in that inner corner, and this is going to just kind of give us that brightness, but here's the kicker. I have mature eyes. It's very obvious, right? You don't want to just do this magic triangle all the way across, okay? You want to brighten without emphasizing. So really take a look at your under eyes. I always recommend don't go with trends. You want to do what works best for your eyes. Everyone's eyes are different. So for me, my nose is really wide and I didn't nose contour. So I'm going to lighten the side of my nose because that will actually slim it even without using a contour. Can you see that? Okay, that inner corner right there where it was really dark, I'm gonna make sure that's brightened back up. Now for mature eyes, we wanna go more on this part that's nice and flat than up here where we have lots of crinkles when we smile, right? So down on the side of the nose, we wanna avoid this entire area because makeup just tends to collect there and look textured. So we're just gonna concentrate on brightening right there. And then I have a lot of texture out here. I'm not gonna put it out here. I'm gonna concentrate on where my eyes have shadows and contours. So you can probably see I have a lot of shadowing right here, okay? And all we're doing is with highlights and contours, highlights are lighter, okay? They're gonna push forward. Contour, obviously, darker, those shadowy gray tones are just gonna give the appearance of depth, okay? So darkness pushes back, brightness brings forward. That's what gives the illusion that our cheekbones are lifted and our under eyes are more smooth and not maybe have as many, you know, as much bags or whatever you're trying to kind of trick the eye, right? So I pay attention to where it looks like I have a shadow. When I look directly forward, that is where I'm going to use that brighter shade. I'm not necessarily gonna do the entire under eye. I'm just gonna do where I have a little bit of shadowing. Okay, you can probably see how it kind of, sometimes it works better when I use a smaller brush. Okay, now we can take a little bit, even if we don't nose contour, down the center of the nose, okay? You can take a little bit between your brows. Not a whole lot, because that can be an area of texture for some people. Cupid's bow right there. I like to do center of the chin, because a lot of people are darker right in the middle of their chin. And then if you do have a naturally lighter neck, I recommend taking this brush and just kind of tapping along the jawline to bring in those lighter tones so that you stay matching. It's also a good way to kind of clean up or define your cheek contours. Okay, at this stage, after I have all of my highlights and my contour done, this is the magical part. This is where I go from looking makeup-y to looking like skin. This is the part I use, the perfector. And I do not recommend anyone try my methods of layering without this. It will look heavy and it takes some practice knowing how much product to apply. So this is the only way to take off any of that excess. And even after me doing this method for years, I cannot pick up the perfect amount to where I don't need it. Trust me, I've tried a million times. So this has already been dampened, it's been sitting out, and it is perfect now. It's just cold, not damp. And now I'm just going to bounce it across my entire face. And it kind of helps blur some lines, but it's mainly to kind of pick up excess so I don't get creasing in my smile lines. And mainly for me, I use it around my eyes, which is my problem zone. Okay, so I layered to get good coverage under the eyes, and I still wanted that brightness, and I can't put the brightener directly under my eyes because it will give me no coverage on my dark circles and hyperpigmentation. So because of the method I have to use in order to get coverage and to get the look I want, this is the only way to do it. So I'm constantly kind of moving this around, making sure it's still cold until my under eyes no longer look heavy or cakey. If they're looking cakey and you're only wearing one shade, it's usually a good indication that you're using a color too light to give you the coverage you want, which makes you have to use far more product. Too much product will always lead to cakey. So color correction is a game changer. Okay, so now it looks like skin, and I'm gonna go ahead and set that in place because our creams don't set. They don't dry down, they don't evaporate like traditional makeup. And so what that means is that as you're talking and squinting and blinking all day, that makeup's naturally going to just migrate to the lowest part of your face. So normally that's smile lines, and for me that's underneath my eyes. So I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of set that with a little bit of that vanilla dust. I'm just gonna tap it on. So I am good to go all day. So you can also use it anywhere you're a little shiny, depending on the finish you want. And I use it to set anywhere I want to avoid creasing. Okay, we're almost done. And I feel like I don't even need bronzer because I used a warmer contour, but it was part of my 8, so I'm gonna go ahead and use it anyway. I'm gonna go ahead and use the blush end of the blush bronzer and swirl into, my favorite of all time would probably be Bella. It's the most universal. So I'm just gonna kind of tap that on the high points of my face where the sun would naturally hit first. Okay, if your neck is lighter, it can be a huge game changer for you. Okay, it is my favorite part, lip and cheek time. And since I can only pick one, I'm gonna pick a limited edition shade because I feel like it will go really good with this color sweater. This is Tango. It is a shade of the season. So our shades of the season usually last like 3 to 4 months, and they're just some new limited edition shades. We're always getting some new ones, which is so fun. So this is Tango. It's a gloss. So there are different formulations. There's matte, gloss, and like a semi-gloss. This one will give that glow to the cheeks. So I'm just gonna go to the outside apple of my cheeks, right up, and just tap it so I'm not moving any product. Right above that contour. This one's pretty pigmented, so I don't need much. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and use that same contour color for my lips to line them. They are very multi-purpose. Then if you want a lot of pigmentation, you can use a brush, or you can just use your finger. And then last but not least, our final color, the illuminator. So I like to use the perfector. This is the only thing I swipe into to get that on the perfector, so that way I can just tap on the highest point of my cheekbones. So we got contour, lip and cheek, illuminator. And that will give us that glow. You can use it under the brows, inner corner, Cupid's bow. I'll be right back. I'm gonna do my eyes real quick. Okay, friends, there is the finished look. I will put all of the colors I used in the caption under the video, as well as all of the details you need to know in order to enter to win the Getting Started kit from Seint. So make sure you check out that caption, enter in the comments down below, as well as send me your color match requests. I have a questionnaire linked as well that asks every question I need to know in order to custom color match you. So the more details I know about what you're looking for, the better I can get you those perfect shades for however you like to wear your makeup. And as always, if you have any questions, be sure to drop them down in the comments below. And thank you guys for being here. Be sure to stay tuned for next week. I've got more giveaways coming next time. Love you guys.